Here's my lasagna. I really hope you'll like it. As you can see, the noodles are cooked and you can cut right through it with a fork. And I started out with uncooked noodles. Thank you very much for watching the video that's coming up. Please like and subscribe. Hi guys, today we are going to make homemade lasagna. Woo-woo! And we are not going to pre-cook our noodles. See? And it still tastes just as good. I learned about this when I was a teenager. My aunt was working at the hospital. She came home, she worked in the cafeteria, and told my mom about it. And when I became an adult, I tried it. It worked, and I've done it ever since. I have noodles, ground burger, ground sausage, ½ pound each, ricotta cheese, mozzarella cheese, and homemade marinara. Yummy. Okay, the key to this, I'm making a small loaf pan because lasagna, the pasta has the carb. I have a diabetic in the house. I don't want to have a bunch of lasagna leftovers. It's just the two of us. He can eat a small amount of it. You can use a lower carb pasta if you prefer, but since I'm eating it too, I don't like the chickpea pasta. I have tried it. I don't care for it. And I don't like chickpeas either, so that's probably why. Anyhow, you want a thin layer of your marinara sauce in the bottom of your pan. Now, I'm not putting a bunch of herbs and whatnot in this. My sausage and my burger both have been cooked with salt, pepper, and garlic. I'm not putting any other herbs in it because my homemade marinara has onion, garlic, parsley, basil, and oregano. And onion and garlic. I think I said those. Anyhow, a thin layer. You want to eyeball your noodle if it's going to fit. The hardest part about this, having uncooked noodles, is making sure you break it to fit. If it's jagged, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to care. Before you put it in the sauce, you can measure it against the other one for the correct length. Plop them in there on top of each other, side by side. As you see, they fit perfectly. Then we're going to put more marinara. And the key to making sure your lasagna is completely cooked. Oh yes, I need to set my oven at 350. And you're going to bake this 2.5 hours. Now, even though this is a small pan, even if you use a bigger pan, because I used to make a full-size lasagna, it still only takes 2.5 hours. Because your meat is already cooked, your sauce is cooked. The only thing not cooked is your lasagna noodles. They're not going to take longer than 2.5 hours on 350, low and slow. So the key is make sure your lasagna noodles are completely covered with sauce every time. That's what's going to cook them. Now I'm taking some of my ground burger, sprinkling it on. You can put as much or as little as you like. My ground sausage. Just like that. Now I'm going to sprinkle mozzarella across the top. Put as much or as little cheese as you like. Then you want to take your ricotta and you want to put a big heaping spoonful in a couple of spots. Take your spoon and smooth it out so you get a nice even layer across the pan of your ricotta. That way every bite you get some ricotta. when I was growing up, my mom used to make lasagna with cottage cheese. And so, of course, the first couple of times I made lasagna, I made it with cottage cheese because that's the way I was taught. So, cottage cheese would be added now. I don't like cottage cheese. I never have. So, I quit using it. And it tastes delicious. We want to add another thin layer of our marinara sauce. We want to make sure we get all the cheese covered because remember, this is going to be the bottom of the lasagna noodle. And you got to make sure the whole lasagna noodle is covered with sauce. Top and bottom to make sure it bakes. This is easy, no fuss, no muss. Lasagna. Delicious. Now we want to add our noodles the opposite direction. And if you need to fit pieces, that's fine. The best way to break a lasagna noodle that's not cooked is figure out where you want it. Approximately. Don't try and get it in the corners because it's going to be smaller there. Like, try and fit it this way so you got your corner edge. You can fit little chopped pieces. So about there. I want to take and press my thumb where I wanted it. Put my hand across the part I want to keep. And lift on the back as I'm pressing down with my thumb. Boom. Perfect size piece. No, it's a little too long right there on that corner. Perfect. Yep. You want to stagger them on each other. And this piece right here, the little pieces that you break off, you can slide those in, fit those in to take up that space. When it all cooks and becomes one gooey piece, nobody's going to be inspecting it to see if you got several little pieces of lasagna. And if you do break it too short, there, see, just like that. It's perfect. Now we're going to coat marinara sauce. Make sure you stir your marinara sauce too, if you make homemade, so that you get all your onion and garlic and herbs all completely incorporated in your lasagna. Make sure every little piece of noodle is got sauce. It's so good. Now we're going to put the rest of our burger. I know in a bigger pan I can get like 3 or 4 layers, and in my small loaf pan I don't get as many layers, but it still does the job. Still very tasty. We want to add the rest of our ground sausage. Spread it out. Get back in there. Sausage overboard. We can't have that. Nope. Ooh. Thankfully that did not fall on the floor. I don't want any sausage wasted. We're going to go ahead and add our cheese, please. Lots and lots of cheese. Yummy. Yummy. If you like more cheese, add more cheese. If you don't like very much cheese, don't add very much cheese. If you don't like ricotta, don't put it in. Put what you like. You're the one eating it. Now, normally I would add more cheese, but that means I have to open another bag, so 1 second. It's a little shy on cheese, and we don't want cheese shyness in this house. This is Jay's priority food group. Cheese. Spread it out. It's okay if it's heaping out of your pan. It don't matter. There we go. Doesn't that look pretty? Now we're going to top with more ricotta. We're going to do the same thing. Boom. Mash it down, spread it out. Even though I don't like a lot of ricotta, I put in the amount that I would want to eat. Jay prefers more ricotta, so when he's eating it, he puts a little more ricotta on his plate to eat with it. Messy, messy, messy. We're not worried about the cheese jumping overboard because we're going to take care of that in a minute. There we go. Now you want to make sure all your cheese is tucked into the edge. We don't want anything hanging over. You'll for sure have spillage in your oven. Okay, it's wanting to stick to the spoon. Okay, then we're going to add more marinara to the top of this. We don't need as much marinara as we put covering the noodles, just a little bit. This is to help keep the foil that we're going to put on this from sticking to the cheese. And just spread it out a little bit. Doesn't that look so delicious? Yummy in my tummy. So, as I said, we're going to bake this for 2.5 hours, low and slow, 350 degrees. And it doesn't matter if you make a full-size pan or a small pan like this, it's the same amount of time. Now we want to take and cover it with foil. This will lock in all of the heat and steam and make sure those noodles get completely cooked. When it's done baking, you want to take it out of your oven and let it set for roughly 10 minutes before you start cutting it, and that'll help keep its shape. I hope you really enjoy this recipe. Please let me know if you try it or not, if you enjoyed it or not. Thank you for watching. Please like below and subscribe. This is my lasagna. Please watch the following video. Comment if you like or dislike, if you've tried it, what other things you've added to it, and subscribe. Thank you.